Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for Serpent Tech. Yesterday I caught up with Jerry and we were talking about this Asus 444K Thunderbolt 4 dock, right? So this dock that's on display here actually has, if we turn on the light here, you had a couple of Type A's and your 3.5mm jack, your micro SD card reader, SIM, and you could see that it actually powers multiple monitors. And you know, these monitors are not new, but Asus is taking their laptop design, one Thunderbolt cable to this dock, and is able to power multiple displays. Because I know a lot of people want to be able to run multiple displays, no problem. So you should check out this Thunderbolt dock. This is the DC500, and personally, I could use one, and I know my wife can for work, so that's why I was looking at it. Some of their Asus laptops that are coming out are actually already running Meteor Lake, and we were looking at some of them back over here. So that laptop right there is the latest one that's running Meteor Lake. Yes, which one is this one? Let's see here. And it's got a Meteor Lake CPU in it. It's running 16 gigabytes of DDR5. Has 512 or up to 512 gigabytes of M.2 memory. And the biggest thing for me is the Carbon, right? So the Carbon Partner Services, they're trying to make products sustainable, and you can see from the initial, right? So this is the initial starting phase. This is what it looks like. Very light, but very rigid. Then it gets fine-tuned, right? And then it gets fine-tuned some more. And then here's the final product. And honestly, the feel of it, I like it. I like it. Super light, super rigid. I mean, like, I can't explain this. This is so light. Really unique. And what is that? So it's got NFC capability built into the trackpad. Iris graphics from Intel. Energy efficient. I/O is, we got Type A on this side. Power button right there instead of on the traditional top right. And then we got Type C, micro USB. No, the mini display port right there. HDMI, 3.5mm. So no Ethernet, but with most laptops these days, you don't really need Ethernet. So it's good to see, you know, Asus trying to refine their products and technologies. One of the things I was actually interested in was Asus ProArt design. This case is pretty stout. I mean, from what I've seen, especially with our GPUs these days, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get away with a mid-tower anymore. So we got wood here. You can barely see it. It's actually black. And I believe on the inside is 238mm or 240mm fans. You can see them very carefully in there. Obviously, you can remove this dust filter. This is actually specially designed. Asus is thinking about its designers, because the way it's designed is most designers have cats. And so if your cat actually lays on this, it would not put itself into a power down state because it can't breathe. It would actually sense it, and there's sensors on the front, there's sensors on the top, there's sensors in the back, sensors all over this thing that really, you know, hope, obviously, if it can't get cooling and it's not keeping its components cool, it's not going to just force itself to shut down. But the entire ProArt element is strictly for your 3D designers, your content creators, your users that work in Adobe and multiple applications. So this is a powerhouse, and that wood could be changed out. You got your black, and then you got your, what I would call pine, but I forgot the name of it that the gentleman was saying. And this ProArt display is a 27-inch 4K. It looks like LED panel, HDR, 178 IPS. Adobe RGB is 99%, DCI P3, and of course got VESA mount, HDR 400 certified, so on and so forth. One display port daisy chain, 2 HDMI, and then a Type C as well. So the entire ProArt lineup from Asus, if you are a content creator or a designer. And then the 7600 XT, right? So this was just announced by AMD. Of course, this is a 16 gigabyte model, and the cooler design, and that's what we're going to see commonly throughout much of our vendors, is the same cooler design is going to be unanimous with all the manufacturers. It's a dual 8-pin power. They're not using any of their ATX 3.0 standard or anything like that. Looks like we got DisplayPort ×3, HDMI, and the same TUF brand monochromatic look that we're used to, and then of course you got the white one here. But on this one, we actually have 2 HDMI versus on this one only 1 HDMI. So 3 DisplayPort, 2 HDMI, all white looks really good. And then of course this is the ATX 3.0 standard, whereas this one didn't have it at all, which is what was displayed in a previous video when we were talking about this particular system that has the AIO and the all Asus TUF build. Really nice, really clean aesthetics. And 4080 Super, you got the 7600 XT, you got the 4070 Ti Super, which I don't really care too much for that name, but those are the lineup of products that we're familiar with. Now, TUF products started off, in my personal opinion, I could be wrong, as kind of Asus's lesser, more budget-oriented brand, and has slowly become its own main staple, where I see a lot of people kind of gravitating to the TUF build series. And it's very interesting to see how things go as they move on with their laptops. Of course, we got the multiple names here. I don't know which one's which because it's not labeled right next to each other, but this is the F-16 fighter jet name. We got the A-16, and then we have the A-15. Okay, there we go. A-15, A-16, F-16. And I have an Asus laptop. It's actually one of my main bread and butters in my editing rig. So it's good to see the lineup expand and grow out. And over here, Asus is actually showing off their CNC milled aluminum chassis, right? And they're starting off back here with the base, right? Then they're moving up to the secondary one right here, the third one, and then the fourth one, adding that extra level of rigidity. But also, because it's aluminum, it will also help out with thermal dissipation with their components internally. Right, you can see it milling out section by section, bit by bit, as they, we as an industry continue to push this hardware further. And this is the 2024 ROG Zephyrus G14, and I don't have a Zephyrus laptop, but this is kind of the top ones out there, to be perfectly honest. So it looks like we have the fan solutions that they started off with. So this is 2019, 2021, and 2024. You can see how it has grown. Actually, I'm pretty sure the one that I have in my laptop now is probably the Gen 1. But look at this design. Really interesting. So we got an outer edge, or inner edge, flowing into the outer edge to help dissipate that heat. And they got a little display here showing the conventional fan versus the arc airflow fan. That's going to be on their newer laptops. And the heatsink design, because they're trying to pack as much componentry into their Asus laptops, and you need to be very efficient at thermal design. So we got our GPU. This looks like our GPU here and our CPU there. Of course, all the heat pipes going out, and then you would have the fans in the background blowing out through, trying to keep your memory, your CPU, your GPU, and your VRMs nice and cool. So Asus has been leading the edge on that, and of course they got the arc flow fan that's making it just that much better. 11% more airflow with 16% less power. Inspired by airplane winglets, their second-gen arc flow fans add a small bend to the tip of each fin, reducing energy waste and lowering the turbulence produced by less fan noise. Very interesting. Here we got the ROG Strix Scar 18. This is a big boy. Okay, this is a big boy. This is a proper gaming laptop. You're probably going to want to be sitting down if you're going to be utilizing this and maybe connecting to a dock or what have you. Very interesting because it's pretty thick, right? So we got 2 Type A right here. It looks like I got a clear bezel or clear case. Not sure if that's coming through on the camera. And then on this side we got HDMI. Looks like 2 Type C's, 3.5 millimeter power, and of course Ethernet. But that is definitely a big boy. What kind of screen is working? So this is a 4090 in here. It is an 18-inch Nebula or QHD Nebula HDR display, mini LED with over 2K dimming zones, 16:10 aspect ratio, 240 hertz. Nice. That's pretty cool. And then this one is the one I have, but obviously the newer one. I don't have this one per se. Also, I don't have the numlock button. That's one feature I wish I would have gotten on my laptop. But this is the Scar 16, I believe. So actually, this might not be the one. This is the one I have. All right, so Strix G16 is what I have. But this is the Scar 16. And just high quality laptops built by Asus, trying to keep their thermals down, but allowing you to. Personally, I like it because editing on it, my workflow is just a lot easier, and I can edit over the network just fine and utilize all my hardware. This is the actual laptop that I have right here, the Strix G16. This is just a 2024 edition, and it's got a 4080, and I think this is actually the same. So this is not a new product. This is, the same thing that I have. I think it launched in middle of last year. Don't quote me on that. But this has got the 14900HX versus mine, which is the 13980HX. So this is obviously going to have the latest and greatest Intel CPUs combined with the 40 series, and we'll probably start seeing 4070 Ti's, 4080 or Ti Supers, and then 4080 Supers as well. And then of course they're handheld. So Asus booth is really kicking it. I like all the new products that they're coming out with in the future. We'll see how things pan out. But that's going to do it for today's video. Please do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out, get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.